Geeks and Gamers, Matt Lemke here with 2Gamer Goggles, and today I'm actually bringing you a recipe. This recipe is a protein bar. It's a chocolate cherry, well, more emphasis on cherry and almonds than chocolate, but there's some chocolate in it. And this is one of the things that I promised to do for you with Con Survival Week. It's something I like to carry with me as a little snack in between meals. It gives me a good lift. I make one of these recipes. If I go alone, it usually gets me through the whole show. So we're going to go to the whole cooking part. I've got everything ready to go, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes after I get my camera set up upstairs. Okay, so the ingredients we have here is, well, we'll start with top of the list. You have 1/3 cup honey, 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Looks like I mixed it for a full or a double recipe. 1/4 cup of peanut butter. Any random peanut butter will work. And then you have, for your other dry ingredients, you've got 2 cups of cornflake cereal, a half cup, where'd they go? A half cup of dried cherries. I usually add a little bit more. And I didn't have slivered almonds, so I just kind of threw them in the food processor. I like them a little bit bigger anyway. I like the chunky piece. And this is roughly 1/3 cup. And some chocolate chips. Normally this uses a little bit more chocolate chips, but I've cut a lot of sugar out of my diet. So basically what we're going to do is we start by boiling the honey. You bring the honey to a boil. You add the brown sugar and the peanut butter. Well, you add the brown sugar first, and then you stir in all the dry ingredients, and basically you freeze it after that, at that point. So we're going to move to the stove. I'm going to bring it to a boil. I'm going to show you the addition of the sugar and the honey. Honey's about to a boil. And it's not rocket science. I was originally, like I said, planning on a double batch, but I don't want to do any of the extra math. So this is basically what we did. As soon as the honey comes to a boil, which it's at a boil, take your brown sugar and you add it in. Basically, you stir that for about a minute. This actually, this honey stirred in honey trick is actually a German idea or concept, at least to the best of my knowledge. I know of quite a few German recipes that have this sugar and honey as its base. There's actually I think it's called the Buchen. I made them for my boys not too long ago for their German class. It's a pretty much flourless recipe. It's brown sugar and honey as the base. It's kind of like a gingerbread type of thing. And you just keep stirring this in for that whole minute. Let it simmer. Figure eights help with the sticking on a pan. Notice I am using a non-stick pan. You don't have to. It was just the right size for the job. And basically by doing a figure eight, you pretty much ensure that you'll never get into that nice circular motion that stays the same, that follows the outline of the pan. And you get a more agitated stir, I guess is the right way to say it. And then basically you add, after your minute, you add the peanut butter, which actually peanut butter takes quite a bit of heat to melt. And that's pretty much the base for your recipe. There is no extra oil. The oil is actually from the peanut butter. I suppose you could add a little bit of peanut oil if you wanted a little more fat in this. Stir it so it's nice and smooth consistency. Pull it from the heat. It's a pretty simple recipe. Now what you do, notice I could put my hot pan down on my granite. You just kind of mix everything together, basically. You take your wet ingredient, pour it out. Don't burn your hand touching any metal that you shouldn't touch. And you stir it together a little bit neater than I am. It's cooling pretty fast, actually. Wow. Now you notice that it's kind of setting. That's okay. If you're not comfortable with that, just pop it in the microwave for a few seconds. Now, so if you want the heat, why don't I just keep it on the stove? I just don't like working this on the stove. I'd rather put it in here. It's easier to break it up in the bowl, I think. And then that way you kind of don't cook the cereal. You know, so putting it back and forth into the microwave is what I consider the better option. Which, as you can see, it's quite sticky. I'm going to go ahead and throw this back in. Well, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my well-greased pan and pour it out into that. And then what I'm going to do is scoop out the little bits. With a harder spatula. Now you can oil this bowl too. I didn't do that. Normally I do that. I oil it. And then I don a glove. And you just kind of press it down in here. Make sure it's flat. The glove helps with two things. One, it helps you tolerate the heat a little bit better. Two, you don't get all that sticky stuff on your hands. And then after you do that, you put the mixture in, you pat it down, you freeze it for 30 minutes, and you transfer it to a cutting board when it comes out. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pop this in the freezer. Now after you've frozen it and you've let it set in there for 30 minutes, you pull it back out, you dump it out on a cutting board, and you go ahead and you wait until it comes up to room temperature, and then you cut it into 8 equal parts. So basically, wow. I think maybe it's not quite at room temperature yet. So basically you're going to cut it in half. I'm actually going to go more than 8 equal parts, because I always do. And then I'm just going to cut it. Let's see, am I going to... No, I will make the 8. There. And that's all there is to it. You pick it up. Pick it up, take a bite after they've been fully cooled. Kind of like a toasted granola bar with a heavy hint of honey. The cherry packs a nice sweet kick to it. And toasted almonds, if you like almonds, like I do, are there. And every now and then, you get that little bit of chocolate. Now, if I would have used all the chocolate that the recipe called for, the whole bottom of the bar would be chocolate, because it would separate from the peanut butter as it melts and kind of make like a coating. You can always add your chocolate chips after the fact, and they'll stay harder that way. Thanks for watching, guys. Matt Lemke with Through Gamer Goggles, gamer-goggles.com. Protein bars for your favorite convention. These are actually going to get frozen and go to Gen Con with me. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.